Friends, there was a time when I was reading a Don Camillo book almost every other day. I was then deeply interested in politics, and most of my friends and mentors, to the immense anger of my father, were hardcore communists. Few of them had heard of Don Camillo books. The others who did lacked the basic sense of humor to appreciate it. Believe it or not, used book then could be bought for just 1 rupee or even less. There was also a period when Penguin, if I'm not wrong, came out with cheap book editions and sold classics for just 1 rupee. I was basically interested in Don Camillo books because the events in them took place in a, within quotes, bourgeois democratic country where the communists were very strong. We were all then sure of our own communists posing a strong challenge to the Congress government. The prestige of the Communist Party, Soviet Union, and Stalin was at its height in the years immediately following the Second World War. After the fall of Mussolini in 1943, the communists organized resistance against the Nazis in a big way, and the communists participated in every government from 1944 to 1947, with Comrade Togliatti serving as the deputy chief prime minister. I think it's deputy chief minister. The main party, however, was the Christian Democratic Party, and naturally their relationship with the communists was uneasy, though initially somewhat friendly. The party broke with the communists and socialists in 1947 thanks to Harry Truman, but the communists were forced to contend with until 1976 when they won about, if I'm not wrong, 35% of the popular votes in the elections. The Don Camillo books speaks about this period. More than 50 years after his death, the author of this novel, Giovanni Uvarashki, if I think I spell his name correctly, continues to remain a part of Italian collective imagination as a consummate humorist, storyteller, editor, satirist, and journalist. Indeed, he is the most translated Italian author of the 20th century, believe it or not, with more than 25 million copies of anthologized Don Camillo books sold worldwide. Such is the fame of Don Camillo. We may not know it. The two primary characters in these stories are Don Camillo, a burly Catholic priest who is always ready for fist fights, boxing contests, even using a gun when required, and his constant antagonist, Pepone, the village mayor, who is equally hefty and a good match for the priest. The stories take place, as I said, during the height of Cold War in a small rural Italian town. Don Camillo is a strong-willed but a wise priest, constantly at odds with the communist mayor, that's the Pepone. Both the priest and the mayor share a deep concern for the well-being of their village's citizens, but differ over what is best for them. Pepone, on the one hand, makes fairy speeches praising the virtues of the Communist Party, while vilifying the non-communist reactionaries who he thinks are vermin. Don Camillo, of course, on the other hand, considers communism the religion of the very devil. In the books, the Communist Party happens to be the principal and often only political party in the Italian village. Naturally, Don Camillo feels a responsibility to be not only the town's religious leader but also the opposition political functionary. And even though the two bicker constantly in public, the reader will immediately be able to sense a certain secret respect between priest and the mayor. The third important character in the books is Jesus Christ himself. Don Camillo frequently consults with Christ on the crucifix for help and guidance, and the reader is a witness to these wonderful, amusing conversations. Christ, with exceptional tolerance, offers direction and more than often gentle reprimands for Don Camillo's intolerance. But at times, Camillo emerges the winner. The communists in the novel, of course, they breathe fire, as I said earlier, on political platforms, but they attend mass and baptize their children. Let me give you some feel of the novels. This is a conversation between the Lord and the priest. Let me quote. Lord, let me beat him up for you. You will do nothing of that kind, said the Lord. But Camillo says, but Lord, you can't trust a red. Let me at least hit him with a candle. The Lord says, no, scolds the Lord. Your hands were made for blessing. Your hands were made for blessing. Camillo retorts, Lord, my hands were made for blessing, but not my feet. And he uses his feet. Again, listen to this. What do you wish to name this child? He asked Pepone's wife. That's Don Camillo asked Pepone's wife. Lenin Liberto Antonio, she replied. Then go and get him baptized in Russia. Okay, then the usual fist fight happens between Don Camillo and Pepone, in which the Lord sides with Camillo. Pepone is naturally defeated, and he reluctantly agrees to change the name of the child. So now Camillo asks him, what am I to name him? Camillo Liberto Antonio. Don Camillo replies, no. We name him Libero Camillo Lenin. Yes, Lenin. When you have Camillo around such folks as Lenin, he is quite useless. That's what he says. On another occasion, when the Lord tells Camillo not to carry a gun, the Lord says, nothing can defeat good conscience, Don Camillo. And Don Camillo immediately retorts, I know, Lord, but the trouble is, people don't fire at the conscience, but between the shoulders. I can go on and on. After all these years, I agree, many of the episodes read contrived, but the overall charm, I feel, is still intact. I would like youngsters to pick the first book, and if they like what they read, they should read the rest of the set. As for me, the books will always appeal to me because they imagine situations when communism can coexist with religion, each secretly respecting the other. Thank you very much. Please wait for my next book.